Hey YouTube, this is Jonathan with the Strike Collective, back again with another video. I had a couple questions on what are the bowling balls I have, so I figured I'd go ahead and do an arsenal update. Like I said, I throw a lot of brands of Brunswick, so let's go ahead and get into it. So guys, getting right into it, I'm going to go ahead and review the Brunswick stuff that I have. This obviously is the Brunswick Mesmerize. I actually have this as a short pin for me. This is 40 by 1.5 inches by 40. So on this one, I did a short pin just because I'm not great with the urethane. I can score with it, but my speed is a little higher than most, like I said in the last video. I did kind of make a mistake where I said that it's 17 to 19 off my hand. It's mostly 17 to 19 down lane. So off my hand, it can be anywhere from 18 to 21. On spares, I throw it way harder than that, like around 20 to 21, 22. But anyway, getting into this ball, very predictable. The short pin layout just gives you a really, really good look and smooth control. Something that I needed when I'm playing the outside of the lane. I have put up quite a bit of scores with this on almost everything. I've thought it was only going to be for short patterns, but I've thrown it on the long stuff and even on house shots. Very, very predictable, very good bowling ball. So next up, we have the Brunswick Vaporize. I went ahead and put a smoother motion layout on this one. This is a 20 by 4.5 by 40. For me, it's very, very long. Great compliment to the Mesmerize, which is obviously a lot earlier. Just the surface of the ball, you can tell it's meant to be early. This one is very, very long and strong. Get a lot of angle out of it. It's pretty much a really good house shot killer for me. I do ring a lot of 7 pins with it, but I've thrown it on some medium-ish to longer patterns as well when I really need something to come off the spot down lane. And it works really, really well. A lot of ringing 7 pins, some 710s on occasion just because it's a little late, but still a very, very good piece. Let's go into the next ball, which is a step down from this for me. Next up, we have the Brunswick Beyond Infinity. This was one of the first bowling balls I got when I first came back to bowling after my 10-year layoff with my back surgeries and such. I have this one 70 by 4 by 20. For me, it makes it fairly angular off the spot. It's definitely a step down from the Vaporize for me, which is a good thing. It's just a little bit earlier on the spot down lane, probably like a 5-foot difference. Not many people would notice it, but when you bowl enough, you'll notice it a lot. Very, very good piece. I've thrown this mostly on house shots. I haven't really hit many sport shots with it. I think only one. I threw it on a U.S. Open pattern at a little in-house tournament that we put the U.S. Open pattern out for. Worked rather well. I remember being in like second or so. I was plus 60 or so. But yeah, again, very angular, continuous. I don't ring as many 7s with this one just because it picks up just a little bit sooner. But overall, yeah, pretty much the same motion. It gets down the lane for me, comes off the spot, and hits pretty well. Very, very continuous. I believe I have a short on the channel where I stoned a pretty nice 8-pin with it. But yeah, overall, still really, really good piece. Still a big fan of the Brunswick brand. Let's get into the next one. Next up, we have the Brunswick Melee Jab Carbon. I did this one 3 3/4 by 40. Funny story behind this one. It was just sitting around the shop and in the back. They'd already discontinued it. No one was buying it. So shout out Kegler's Corner. They gave me a pretty good deal on it. I needed a symmetrical piece just to fit into my arsenal in my bag, give me a little bit of a different look. I throw this one pretty exclusively on a house shot. I don't think I've ever really ran across a sport shot for it yet. Mostly I throw it generally in another house that I bowl in that is a little bit drier. Sometimes it's drier in the middle, so you kind of have to circle around it a little bit and make sure that you get it to a spot down lane. But no complaints. Honestly, I don't throw it a whole lot. I have it just because I do bowl a lot, so if I run across something that I see, I'll have it in my bag. And that's kind of what I'm getting at here with the whole arsenal. I keep a lot of stuff just in case. All right, let's get into the next one. That's it for the brands of Brunswick. Or that's it for the Brunswick portion of it. We're going to move into some of the hammer stuff now. So next up we have the Hammer Scorpion Low Flare. Honestly, probably one of my favorite balls. I got this 70 by 4 by 40. Easily one of my favorite balls. I've thrown this on a wide variety of short, medium, long house shot. I do throw this pretty exclusively for at least 2 games most of the time in the house that I average 240 in. For a symmetrical piece, it's just smooth and it hits so hard. I throw messengers with it at the 7-pin, the 8-pin. It's ridiculous sometimes how good this ball is, for the price point especially. It's just so smooth and so continuous through the spot. You definitely need to check out and get in one of these before they go away. I do have quite the fair amount of games on it, so I'll probably either look to replace it soon. Either thinking about getting another one and drilling it the same, or maybe trying out something like a Ebonite GB5 or maybe the track stealth mode that just came out. Something smooth and controllable, but overall one of my favorite pieces. Easily one of my favorite pieces out of my arsenal. Next we have the Hammer Effect. Easily one of my favorites. Just such a strong pearl ASIM. I have this one 50 by 4.5 by 40. Like I said in the last video, I throw this ball a lot in the 3rd game. It follows up my Hammer Low Flare. There's a league that I bowl here that I average 240 in. I bring 3 bowling balls in tonight. I bring the Low Flare, the Effect, and my plastic ball. And once the Low Flare starts giving away on me, sometimes it'll start burning up a little early. I'll leave a flat 7 or the messengers just won't connect. You can just tell. As a bowler, you know when it's not going through the pins right, when you aced it off your hand. I take out this ball and I move anywhere 5 to 10 boards right, and it just always comes back for me. It's just a monster. There's not enough I could say about this ball. It's easily the best ball that came out in 2024. I'm going to need to get another one probably before they go and stash it, or just drill it up and replace it, because I got a ton of games on this. I've thrown this in tournaments in New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland. Just easily one of my favorite balls. So hard to put down, and so good looking too. I really do enjoy the colors of this one. Alright, here we have the Hammer Black Widow 2.0. One of my favorite balls to travel with. It's hard to find a condition that I can't throw this on. I do have a similar layout on the Vaporize as I do this one. It's a 20 by 4.5 by 40. Just a real smooth motion, nothing too crazy. Goes through the pins the correct way. I did up the surface on it a little bit just to separate it from the other balls. I have this one at 2000, and it took the surface really well. It just makes it a little bit earlier than like the Beyond Infinity or the Vaporize. That way I can still kick out the corners and make sure it drives through. This one has like another funny story. I got this one as a deal. As you can see in the beginning of it, it was plugged. It was drilled for a customer, and not sure quite what happened, but they had to get the customer a new one because the drill specs were wrong. I don't know if he had like a secondary drill sheet or what, but the drill specs were wrong, so they plugged it. They got the guy a new ball, and they left this one in there, and I was like, hey, I'll take it. And I'm so glad I did. Really, really good piece. Moving on to the next one, we have the Hammer Black Urethane Pearl. Everybody, of course, knows what this ball is and what it does. If you watch the tour on Saturday or Sundays, you're probably seeing this on TV just about every week. Urethane like re-swept the nation again. But yeah, it's like a niche ball for me. I'm not really big throwing urethanes on house shots. I do on occasion. Like I said, there is one center that it's a little bit trickier than others. It's a little bit drier, so to avoid the 5 count through the face, sometimes I'll throw this because it just goes a little bit early and goes through the pins. I do have this one. This is one of the only balls I have in 16 pounds. It was recommended to me by another Brunswick staffer. Just because of my speed, he was like, the diff is a lot better, so go ahead and get a 16-pound ball. Still, no complaints. Throw it on occasion. It's always in my bag for tournaments just in case, especially if I'm going to a sports shot tournament. It's in the bag for sure. And that's going to do it pretty much for the hammer stuff. We're going to go ahead and move into the radical stuff now. So starting off my radical arsenal, continuing on with the Brands of Brunswick stuff that I have, we have the Radical Max Bias. You may have seen me throw it in the recent video that I posted for the Outer Limit Solid. I'll go ahead and repeat it again. I mean, this ball was really, really good. Like I said, it's just a little bit much for me on a house shot. I do throw it on some of the medium-ish to longer stuff, mostly longer stuff. But as always, it always has a place. Very, very strong ball, nice and tumbly off the spot, no real overreaction. I mean, go back and watch the video and you'll see it. It's like halfway through, I kind of compare it. This ball is just, there's not enough good things I could say about it. I shot 300 with it right off the press. Play in the middle of the lane, you know, it's where all the oil is. It was in the summer though, but still, very, very good ball. You know, there's not many bad things you can say about radical stuff. Their cores are really, really good. Their covers are really, really good. And of course, you know, Mo was an innovator, so of course you gotta stick with his stuff sometimes. Really, really good ball. All right, let's go to the next one. Next up for my radical lineup, I have the Radical Conspiracy. I do realize in the last video I may have called it the Conspiracy Theory. Sorry for the confusion. But yeah, it's the Radical Conspiracy. As you can see, I put a pretty rolly layout on this. This is 45 by 4 by 40. Really, really like this ball. Again, it's a little much for the house shot, so it's not something that I throw daily or weekly in my leagues, but I do have it in the bag when I go away for tournaments, especially on Saturdays and Sundays. Really, again, there's not much you can say bad about it. It's very, very rolly, very versatile. I've thrown it on short stuff, I've thrown it on long stuff, and it just scores. It just scores. I have had a couple people tell me to put a little bit of polish on it, and I might be able to throw it a little bit better on a house shot. I haven't tried it yet. I'm open to it. We'll just see. Like right now, I'm in a really good spot in most of my leagues, so not really sure if I'm going to mess with it too much, but we might. We'll see. If I do, I'll make a video and I'll let you guys know. Rounding out my radical lineup, I have the new Outer Limit Solid. Just made a video on this ball. Really, really good piece so far. I've only thrown like 3 or 4 games with it, and it was just a Saturday morning practice, kind of making a video for it. First impressions, though, very, very hard and continuous off the spot. I wouldn't necessarily say angular, just like archy and rolly off the spot, and it just goes through it. I mean, there was plenty of times where like the 8 or 9 pin was last to fall because I was just splitting the 8-9 with it. Even when I got further in, still the same thing. Left a couple flat 7s, but that's mostly a me thing. That's a me getting fast or getting around it. So yeah, I wouldn't be too worried about it. So far, so good. This ball has really, really good signs on it. I can't wait to see what it does in the other house that I bowl in. I might be able to throw it. I'm gonna give it a shot at the very least. We'll see. But yeah, this ball is just amazing so far. I'm looking to put up some scores with this one. And that'll do it for the radical portion. The next few are just smaller pieces that I have, niche pieces. Alright, next up is the only Deviate ball that I own. This is the Deviate Hater. This ball is a little bit of a issue for me. I do like it, but I think I put the wrong layout on it. I went for a smoother motion layout of the 28 by 4.5 by 40. I thought it would be pretty good to do on something a little bit duller with more surface, but it hasn't really worked out in my favor. I'm not saying that the ball is bad at all. I've seen other people put up some numbers with it. Just not for me. It seems like it's pretty condition-wise, for me anyway. But yeah, I think I shot 300 with it in practice one time after a birthday party with all the carry down. But it just rolls out a little early for me. Just the wrong way out on this piece for me. Lesson learned, but still not too bad. This is, like I said, the only DV8 ball that I have. We're going to get into track next. Next up, we have the symmetrical track Heat Maroon. Very good piece. It's another niche ball for me. I drilled it 4 3/4 by 25. Just looking for something for when the lanes get burned up. I need something to get through it a little bit better. And I mean, it does exactly that. There's nothing necessarily wrong with it. I just don't see it a whole lot. Being left-handed, not much of a track. There's some days where I need it. I do throw it in the other house that I bowl in quite a bit when it gets dried out. But yeah, I mean, it does what I intended it to do. No complaints. Like, I'm not gonna say it's bad. It's just very niche. That's the only issue for me. Other than that, it's great. It does what I needed to do. I haven't really put up any crazy numbers with it, but again, like I said, I've probably only thrown it maybe 20 to 30 times, maybe. And I bowl a lot, so it's a little different, but it's still a good piece to have just in case. And last but not least, this is the Hammer Ocean Vibe. I probably should have added this in the hammer section, but I kind of forgot about it. It's a very, very niche ball for me. I put a 6-inch pin on this one. This is a 6 by 45. I mainly use it in one center and one center only just because of the conditions. A lot of friction. If you miss in, it's a 5 count. I've talked about it all throughout the video. And, when you got 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row, I'm okay with a flat 7, even an 8, a 6 pin. But when you are going through the face constantly for 5, it's just not fun. So I was kind of drilling for gold with this one, hoping that I can get the reaction that I wanted. The 6-inch pin gets it way down the lane for me. And it still makes a pretty aggressive move. It's a very, very clean ball. Like I said, no real complaints. I throw it in one league and one league only, really, or when I sub in there. Nothing crazy, a couple 700s, nothing wild. Just one of those balls that I got tired of fighting the condition, and I was like, hey, you know what? Let's do something about it. Give me one of those. Alright, guys, that's going to do it for me. That's my entire arsenal. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment. Please go ahead and subscribe. We have platforms on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Have a great day, guys. And always check out Kegler's Corner Pro Shop if you're in Delaware. Thank you.